So, hello everyone. Hi, very good evening, all of you. In today's webinar, we are having Dr. Himanshu Puri. But before that, I'll just introduce what Grab Guidance is all about, right? To our uh, new audience, right? Those who are new to our YouTube platform, I just introduce what Grab Guidance is all about. So, Grab Guidance is a marketplace for experts and learners. We provide an end to end solution to the students for connecting with the right expert and get the perfect support through our enhanced technology and interface. Okay, so you can meet your experts one to one live on our platform, and we are specialized in providing online one to one solution. Okay, so before now moving further, I'll just introduce Dr. Himanshu Puri that he's an uh, entrepreneur, and today's topic is on how to become a successful entrepreneur. Okay, so over to you, sir.
All right. Thank you so much, Ankita. Um, I think you apprise our audience about the Grab Guidance. Yes, definitely. I myself, being a part of Grab Guidance, definitely we have built a product uh, which is sort of a Uber of education sector, I would say. Because honestly, one can have a on-demand session booking anytime, instantly, with any kind of an expert. It's a marketplace altogether. So beautifully explained, Ankita. Thank you so much, and thanks for introducing me also. Having said that, yes, Ankita, told me, like, described me like I'm an entrepreneur. So yeah, I have an exposure, of founding legal tech and edtech ventures. I've worked with one of the unicorn as well, which is upgrade.com, into the edtech space. So yeah, probably whatever insights that I'll be having, definitely I would like to share it in today's session, with the theme that we have taken, that how to become a successful entrepreneur. So moving to the agenda, uh, honestly, when it comes to successfulness, guys, let me put it very straight, that success as a term is very subjective. I mean, it's totally up to you how you want to define it. Like, now I'll be talking about from a startup ecosystem perspective. For some founder, success might be that till the time you achieve a unicorn status, you don't get satisfied. You don't feel yourself as a successful. So I think that can be your objective, that I want to be a founder of a unicorn, right? So that would be a successful parameter for you. But for some, it might be something else. For some, people raising, say, seed round is a success in their entrepreneurial journey, because till there, it's validated that investor can bet on you. You are fundable, you have certain innovative idea. So that's another way to look at it. And just to give you one more maybe instance, if you are sort of earning, say, 10 crores per annum, that's a probably a success factor for you. And in that case, you may not get into external funding, or getting series A, series B, whatever you call it as in today's world. But yes, that might be a success for you, because you have probably started a business from a scratch and built it to a level where you are earning crores of rupees as a revenue, is also a success. So guys, don't just get digress with this kind of a terminology, whether I'll be successful entrepreneur or not. At the end, you yourself have to decide where you get your till what time you get your you consider yourself as a successful guy, right? And another, when it comes to successful entrepreneurship, another term is entrepreneurship. So obviously we are not here to define entrepreneurship and all that. But I mean, you must be agreeing to me that in today's world, I mean, everybody is actually talking about starting a venture, talking about being a founder, talking about let me be an entrepreneur, because it's kind of a trending word, I would say, and it's a buzzword. But having said that, there are a lot of disclaimers that I would like to pose in front of you today. Because when we say I want to be a successful entrepreneur, it takes a lot, guys. It's seriously not easy. It's seems simple to say, although we have also put in our creative, how to become a successful entrepreneur. But mind my words, guys, getting into that phase of getting successful in your entrepreneurial journey will be very difficult. It's not at all easy, honestly, because today you might see a lot of articles on Bhavesh Agarwal from Ola, maybe Vijay Shekhar, Paytm, Ashneer, who's there in Shark Tank, Aman from Board, whatever. I mean, we all get inspired, but we probably are not aware of the journey, the struggles, the hardships they have gone into. I mean, that have gone into in their lives, very honestly. So uh, although it sounds glossy, it sounds trending ki, okay, let me be an entrepreneur, but you have to be well prepared to get to a status like this, where after a couple of years you might be called as a successful entrepreneur. But yourself, in today's world there are very few, handful of them probably, right? So that's a sort of certain context I wanted to set before proceeding. And definitely I'm sure that people today who have joined us definitely are looking out for not those hardships, but certain hacks, certain things by which they can really get onto a successful status as an entrepreneur, maybe. And definitely I will be taking all those things. So moving straight away to that agenda, I just want to split this whole thing to become a successful entrepreneur in 6 key points, I would say. I mean, I'll talk about 6 key points because definitely we have a lack of time. Obviously, nobody would be able to become a successful entrepreneur after knowing about these 6 points. But having said that, if you remember this key points and get deeper into your idea, and just remember on those, these 6 points which I'll be taking up, I think down the line definitely you have certain direction, I would say, where to move, and what all cues to take and all those things. So yes, so let's move with the first point. So first point that I want to share with you guys is basically the idea. You become a successful entrepreneur when you have an idea which is different. We all have ideas. I mean, having said that, every now and then every guy on this planet earth will be thinking of something. Okay, let me do this, let me do that. So it doesn't mean everybody would become a successful entrepreneur, right? I mean, again, so that idea that we are talking about, the idea that is in question to start a venture, has to be somewhere innovative, has to be somewhere different, has to be somewhere scalable also, I would say. Why? Because see, at the end, like I said, people are thinking. I mean, every now and then people are coming up with the ideas, but it takes a lot to get that idea to execution. Because there are probably at some point in time you might think, okay, is this idea workable? You self doubt yourself at times, right? So you have to make sure, you know uh, before taking up any entrepreneurial venture, whether this idea really will be path breaking, whether this idea really will be scalable. By scalable, I simply mean that, okay, I might get a queue. Okay, this is the problem, probably, in the market. I might try to solve it from a, from a product that I want to build, right? But I mean, is this problem being faced by everybody in the market? Is it a problem that is big enough to tackle? So if it is there, I mean, if it is there, if the people are there to accept the solution, then I think then we call it as a scalable, because then there is a huge market for that kind of an idea. So you have to only pursue those ideas which really are worthy enough, I would say. And obviously, to get to get to a stage whether you can understand whether this idea is workable or not, then you have to understand the second part of it. To become a successful entrepreneur, you need to know how to validate your idea. So validate, by simply validation, means checking onto your idea as to whether this idea is really good enough, whether this idea is something that I should work upon. So validation is that a very generic terminology, but having said that, it takes a lot of time to validate also. I'll give you a couple of examples here to understand what I am trying to tell you on the validation part. So guys, when you have an idea, obviously, you at times may be so passionate, you may be so enthused about it that you straight away want to jump into, probably, okay, let me just get some money from my father, maybe, or on from my own saving I have, let me just start building a website, let me just start setting up a manufacturing unit. But that, I would say, is a very wrong approach, because you might be passionate, but you are seeing your idea from your own eyes only. You are not looking at your idea from thousands of eyes, how other people are perceiving your idea to be, right? So that's where you have to validate that idea. You have to probably, one simple hack is like, you have to probably talk to 100 of other people, whether this idea makes sense to them or not. And if you talk to 100 people and 90 are saying no, this is rubbish, the validation is done. I think you need to check more deeply what you're thinking on. You might be thinking somewhere you're going wrong, probably, right? So you might have to tweak your idea, you might have to think on something complementary to it, maybe. So pivoting is very much needed at that point in time as well. By pivoting, again, I mean, you might require to change your idea itself. Yeah. So that's how, validation is very important. Another thing that you probably could do at this stage when you have an idea is like, probably you can do a market survey, a product survey, right? You have this idea, you talk to your prospective TG, make a questionnaire, send them to 100 people, and ask them whether this kind of a product or a service that you are planning to launch really solves their problem, are really beneficial, what they need, what they don't need, when they need, at what price they need. You need to know all these things. These are part of the validation, because if you don't do it, now think other way around, if you don't do it, if you don't check your idea and you start building your product, you start creating a team around it, हायर करना शुरू कर दिया, प्रोडक्ट बनाना शुरू कर दिया, वेबसाइट बनवा ली, पैसे खर्च दिए, 10-12 लाख लग गए, उसके बाद पता लगा कि अरे, people need something else, then you are a failed entrepreneur. You are actually learning from your mistakes then, which is not a bad part. But why to do that also? Why not to go with a logic? Why not to go with certain checks and balances when we already know? And I mean, if you don't know, definitely I would suggest to know all these things before you actually get into the entrepreneurial journey. So yes, 2 points till now I have discussed. One, to become a successful entrepreneur, yes, you need to have an idea, but that idea needs to be quite different, needs to be quite innovative, needs to be scalable. Just an ordinary idea, for instance, okay, let me set up a restaurant. I mean, it's idea, this idea can come to anyone. I mean, anyone might be thinking of opening a restaurant. It is not an innovative idea, although it's a business. You can straight get a good chefs, you can get a good location, you can create a great ambience, and you can be successful as a businessman. I'm not saying that, but when we are talking about a billion-dollar business, there you need to probably think of a innovative idea, is what I meant. And on that, another point that I talked about was to validate your idea. If you're not validating, forget about being successful. You will definitely be a failed entrepreneur. And that is what 90% of the people don't realize. They think, okay, I have an idea, that's a brilliant one, and it didn't work out after 1 year, so I'm a failed entrepreneur, that's about it. No, they didn't do a proper check, they didn't do a validation, they didn't actually got into the basics. Okay, let me speak to 10 people, let me take the viewpoints of the market, let me talk to the target group, the actual customer who will be the prospective customer of my product or service. Let me do that, and thereafter I think they get a good feedback, inputs, and probably they might change their idea, or they might get a 100% validation, and they move ahead that ways, right? So that is very much important at a very very initial stages. So these 2 points, if you see precisely, idea, we're talking about idea, we're talking about the validation. So these two things need to be done at a very very early stage, when there's nothing. it's something is there in your head probably only as an idea, right? So that's two, 1 and 2 point. Third thing that I want to share, which will really help you to become a good entrepreneur, I would say. Successful again is a very big word, like I said, but yeah, if you do all these things, probably you'll be another, you know, billionaire, Dipinder Goyal, maybe. Uh, right. So the third point that I want to share is, whenever you think of an idea now, right? So you have to look into the market it is catering to. By market, I specifically mean to say, you know, the customer you are targeting, the competitors that you have, all these things, and how big is the market as well, right? So you have to get deeper into the market for which this idea is there, for which you are creating a product or a service. Because if you get, you know, obsessed with your idea, okay, I have an idea, I'll launch my website and I'm not looking into anything else, definitely you are doing a big mistake. Like I already said, you have to see, okay, this is my offering, this is my solution, this solution is for whom, what kind of a customer I am talking about. Is it a customer aging between 18 to 24, living in a urban region, is a tech savvy, whatever? So these are the demographics, or a behavioral attitude, or a, you know, somewhere, you know, maybe geographical also, urban region, 18 to 24, demographic, age factors. You have to look into all these aspects. Who is my actually the prospective user, consumer? So if you know about him, you know about what all market you're talking about, which kind of a market you're talking about, and is this market really big? And probably, you know, you might be seeing, like, you know, talking, many people, like founders talking to investors about, you know, my idea is catering to 10 billion US dollar market, right? 15 billion market, right? So ed tech sector is a $5 billion market, right? So that is what market sizing is. Even the investor today evaluates your idea basis the market it is catering to. Suppose I say that I am catering to only a very niche category, right? The market will be small, right? The investor probably might not get excited because it is for small number of people in the market, a small section of the people in the market, right? Right. So today, we know, ed tech, health tech, you know, food tech. I mean, they have got biggest of the biggest funding rounds. Why? Because they are catering to the very mass market. Food, very generic need, right? Education, very generic need. Health, very generic need, right? So that's why. So you need to see what your market is. You need to see who's your actual customer, and you need to probably size your market also. By sizing, like I said, is it like a 5 billion US dollar market, maybe 10 billion, 50 billion? I don't know. You need to know about your market, right? And that is what may be needed for you to be a knowledgeable entrepreneur, I would say. Before getting into the successful aspect, you need to be a knowledgeable entrepreneur first. You should be knowing everything in and out about your market, in and out about your customer, prospective customer as of now, and competitor as well, because the market contains people with whom you will be fighting for the market share, right? So this is the third thing that will really make you a successful one, if you really are knowledgeable enough to get deeper into your market, right? So moving on to the fourth part, you know, so people do feel that, you know, when they're entrepreneur, uh, they need to do everything. Obviously, yes, I won't say no. I mean, maybe the founder, or the, you know, the founders need to be, I mean, they are mostly the CEOs also of startup ventures, and they need to be jack of all trade, like we all say. But having said that, in reality, one person can't do everything. Although he should have the knowledge of everything, but on an execution level, you can't do everything. Today, if you ask me, I am taking care of the venture, but I can't create the product, I can't look into the technology, I can't also do the marketing, I can't also do the sales, I can't do the HR, finances, everything you can't do. You need a team, is what I am focusing on. So without a team, never ever think of your startup venture to get successful. Having said that, yes, there is one guy who gets famous as a CEO and a founder. बहुत articles आपने पढ़े होंगे, I'm sure, but there is always a founding team, there is always a early founding members of the startup who also gets into the limelight if they really become big, and they also get the great benefit, honestly. And it's not about just the founder, it's basically about the founding team. So it might be like three founders coming together being called as co-founder, or if it is a founder, still he needs a founding team basically to execute whatever he has or she has thought of. Because without the team, never ever think of you being successful. It's a basic logic behind any business also. So I'm not telling something new here, although I'm just modifying from a startup perspective, but this is a known fact which probably as a basic businessman also would be knowing, right? He needs good people who can really execute, who can probably build the product, who can really market the product, who can really hire good resources, and all those things, right? So having a passionate team who could really execute your idea, because the idea, the brainchild might be yours, this idea coming might be from your mind, but you need to share that idea among your team, share the same kind of a passion with your team, and let them do. And probably you have to replicate yourself in a way into 10, so that they can really do that great job and build that product, build that service, and launch in the market as a startup, and solve the problem of millions of people maybe, right? So without the team, it might be really difficult, I would say, right? So that was the fourth thing. Coming on to the fifth part. See, honestly, you might be going right till this point. You might have a great idea, right? Which is scalable, which is innovative, which is fundable, for instance, and you have done all these basic checks and balances, the validation we've been talking about, and you're sure, okay, this idea is amazing, this idea is superb. Probably you have spoken to some investors also, they are very happy, right, with this idea. They are waiting you to launch the product, and waiting for you to get the funding also from them as well. And probably you have the greatest of the knowledge of your market also, and you have got the great team as well. Having said that, there are still great chances of getting failed. Why? Because if you have created a good product also, with a good team, with all the knowledge, with everything, at the end, hitting the market and acquiring a customer, the first customer, is the biggest pain. And you will not believe, many of the startups get failed there. They might have a great team, they might have great product, they might have a great idea, all the knowledge, backup from maybe investors, but if they can't execute the go to market strategy, so GTM strategy we call it as, how to go to the market, how to hit the market and get the first customer, you again can be failed. Because because see, it's good to have a good product, but until and unless it is generating revenue, any of the customer is actually using it, it is useless. जितना भी अच्छा बना लो, doesn't matter, right? So again, GTM strategies is go to market strategies. In a simple layman terms, how to market your product and get your customers, acquire your customers, get the revenues is GTM, very honestly. And if you don't know, have a right guy for it maybe. And if you have a right guy, you have to execute it well. If you are unable to start acquiring customers, things will be difficult for you guys, right? So that's where even the fifth point becomes the most important point. Why? Because I mean, every point is in a way the most important, because anywhere anything missing will make you unsuccessful, I would say, right? So having the right GTM strategy is very much important. uh, The sixth point that I want to focus on today is basically, the skill set to really market your product yourself. You may not be the marketing guy, but you need to market your venture. And this comes as a very important aspect when you are probably raising your funds, pitching your venture idea, pitching your startup to raise funds in front of the investors. So you need to have those skill sets, because see, you might be, successful till point 0.5 basis your, goals. Okay, I have got into the market, I have acquired thousands customers, I have, recurring revenue of, for instance, 10 crore every month, annual, whatever it is. You might be there, but if you, again, if your, successfulness wants you to inorganically exponentially grow, then you would be expecting putting certain external funds, जिसको हम again investors money कहते हैं, right? So you might be interested. Okay, I have got into a, a stage where I am making good revenues, I'm earning good, I have a team of 50, 100 people, but I need to expand it to 5,000 employee base. I need to expand it to five more cities. I need to expand it to another country, for instance. For that, uh, inorganically, you need huge funds and inorganic growth, I would say. And for that, as an entrepreneur, if you want to scale it up to a amazingly next level, then you need to have those skill set wherein you are able to pitch your venture in front of an investor for funds, maybe seed round. So again, you must have heard about in articles a lot of funding rounds, like, pre-seed, seed, uh, series A, B, C, D, IPO. Recently we got three startups getting into IPO stage, Policy Bazaar, Nika, Zomato, right? So that's sort of a finale stage where they are so huge that they become a public company. From a small one man company to a public company is what the whole journey of a startup actually. And that's the stage, where you get the funds from the public at large, right? So that's the thing. But yeah, so a lot of things are there. Obviously, it's I won't be able to justify the sixth point, because you need to have a right pitch deck, which is a formal presentation. We call it as a pitch deck, to be prepared and showcased and send it to the investors who probably are interested to fund your venture idea or fund your running business. So that pitch deck, how to make that pitch deck is very critical. How to, to know at what point in time you should go out in the market and ask for funding is another big level of question, because at what stage you should move out and talk to investors is another thing altogether. Because like I said, there are so many stages. You should, you know raise a pre-series A or straight away seed or series A, up to you, right? So that's how it is. And obviously series A, B, C are the later rounds that happens basis the growth of the venture. So guys, those skill sets are very important, because it's not like a presentation that you're giving in a school or a college. It's like, a professional deal that you are trying to crack, and trying to crack million of rupees, million of dollars, for instance, with that investor meet. So guys, very important for scaling up, the 6 point for scaling up to the next level. So guys, so these are the 6 points I wanted to focus on. So I'm just on in a chronological way, I'm just concluding it for your benefit. So guys, for successful startup, you need to have a innovative idea, a brilliant idea which is scalable. Then you need to have those checks and balances, the validation strategies in place, so that you get assured that this idea is will be workable in future, although that's not a guarantee. Again, another level of disclaimer: if you do all these checks and balances, again, that's not a surety, because it's again at the end the risky game. Entrepreneurship is any day a risky game, right? But still, you need to have those validation strategies, so that you reduce down your risk, right? Before spending huge amount, your own savings, your father's money, you need to at least think of reducing down your risk to a level, right? And after that, you need to have a great level of knowledge knowledge about your market, your target customers, your competitors, the size of your market. And the fourth thing that we talked about, having all these things, team is e- exceptional team is always needed, because the execution, one person, it's very difficult. One person as a founder might not be able to do it. I might have a skill set, for instance, I'm maybe good at marketing, right? I may be good at sales, but I may not be a tech guy. So probably you might be needing a tech guy, a co-founder in a tech space, and if it is your venture is actually into the technology space, right? So you have to think of those aspects, whether you need a founder or a co-founder, or you need a founding team, what all areas you need to capture with these teams, and wherein you are wanting to execute, right? And the fifth, we discussed about having all these things. Again, when you hit the market, it's not easy. It's not easy. Acquiring a customer is definitely difficult. You need to have a good marketing strategy. You need to have a great knowledge about how this product would be acceptable and would be requiring a level of marketing. For instance, if it is a tech product, right? So digital marketing would come into picture. You need to know, or your team needs to know, how to market, what kind of a paid campaigns, organic campaigns they need to run, right? If it is a website or an app solution, the marketing strategies totally differ. On app, the metric would be, you want to know how many downloads are happening on the app. But on a website, what is the traffic coming on the website, how to improve more traffic coming to your website, how you have to do the on page, off page SEOs and everything. You have to probably run some paid campaigns to build certain revenue streams and all those things, right? So that's again, every point that I have discussed honestly is a bigger point in itself, and it requires a huge discussion around it, right? So but yeah, on the whole, you must have got a complete background or a context, how important it is, and how you want to probably move, you should be moving on that. And the sixth that I discussed was, basically, when you want to really scale it up, and want to become a successful billion-dollar business founder, then you need to know about the pitching, fundraising, and all those things, because you never know, whatever idea that is coming to your mind uh, might be a billion-dollar idea. You never know. I mean, you might realize it during the journey. You might probably get certain ideas where you change here and there, and you get onto a right path, right? So it's never stable. Just last point here. So things are never stable. You might start with something A, and during the journey you realize it is okay, let me change to B, to C, and at the end you might realize Z is the major thing that you are doing, and that will take you to the next level, maybe. So as a founder, you need to be very flexible, right? You need to be very flexible on, and these are the six things that I want to focus on. And this last part, which is a bit diverted from all these 6 points, certain skill sets probably I can talk of, as a basis my experience, because when you get into the startup ecosystem, building your company, building your business, you need to have certain skill set also. I mean, although we talk about things from a knowledge perspective, everything, but on a soft skill level, on a personal level, you need to be like very open minded, because you have an idea, you can't be rigid there. You can't be rigid. You have to be open minded. You have to be flexible, like I just said, right? Because in the beginning, you start something, and it doesn't have any set stage, it doesn't have those processes. You don't know how things will flow, right? And if you are not open minded, flexible enough, you will be irritated from yourself, and you will not be able to build a business comfortably, right? And if people are saying that please change this to that, I mean, and again, if you are rigid, you will not do it, and you'll again end up losing money on being rigid only. Because if people are giving you a good feedback, maybe your colleagues, or maybe your customer also, you need to be flexible enough to change things, right? So that's one thing. And most importantly, it's very difficult. Like I started with, it's very difficult to get hold of in the beginning, uh, uh, with starting this venture and all those things, because you will, get a lot of negative thoughts. Like, every day would be a struggling day. uh, every day you will feel like, things are not working out, and probably you might want to shut it down next day. So a lot of negativity would already be there. But at at those stages you have to keep going, I would say. So you have to be like sort of determined and passionate enough to be on your path, I would say. That's very important, because there won't be any coming of demotivation, negative thoughts, problems, hurdles, challenges. But to keep it going, to keep yourself moving, I mean, you would require a lot of determination. You would require a lot of you know uh, perseverance, I would say, so that you are sticking on to something and wanting to achieve till the end. It doesn't happen. So that kind of a attitude should be there, I would say. So these are certain soft aspects, but very important. Very important, because like I said, things will not be the way you want, right? So definitely you need to keep yourself on the track, guys. So yeah, I think I have spoken a lot. Maybe I had a set agenda to discuss those 6 points and couple of certain soft aspects. So yeah, would be happy to take up any questions, if it is there. So over to you, Ankita.
Yeah, sir. So I think uh, students are keep thinking what we need to ask because you have explained so very well. Yeah. One question from my side, sir. Actually, just wanted to know that if I wanted to start an, I mean, organic products. I have an idea about it. So, I mean, what should I do? I mean,
Okay.
how should I start?
All right. So see, so now you are talking about, you already have an idea, right? So the next step for anyone who's already having an idea is to actually do the validation, like I just told a bit back, right? I mean, when you have an idea, it's an organic product, but right now the market is also crowded enough now.
Yeah.
Organic product is not a new concept now. A lot
Yeah.
of companies after 2016, 17 started getting into this space. Now you, if you see a lot of websites, I myself remember I met the founder of I say Organics. So they have a website where they sell organic products. They started with fruits and vegetables, honestly, right? And then they obviously expanded their verticals, and it's completely online product delivery of organic products. And today we could see lot of uh, outlets, also offline stores, also focusing on
Yeah.
organic food. So yeah, uh, the space is not new, but how innovatively you want to take it up. What is the uniqueness in your venture? You want to target to a particular segment, a particular vertical, or you want to get into a niche market?
Mhm.
That you have to see, validate, like I said, a lot of things. Start maybe building a MVP, so minimum viable product. Start building a website. If it is a tech concept, you want to build a app or a website, so just build a very basic website to start off. Don't spend too much into building the huge website or a complete supply chain. Just start. uh, People start from Facebook, Insta also,
Mhm.
right? They get the validation
Yeah.
whether your product that you're building, your sourcing, maybe importing, is really being liked by the customer. So start doing it from Facebook, Insta. Get your customers already liking your product, and then probably you can develop certain modes, like the supply chain, or the delivery modes, like I say, maybe through a WhatsApp or a website or a application, whatever it is. So yeah, a lot of things there. Yeah. But
Okay.
yeah, you have to move like that.
Uh, okay. So one more question, but before that, I am requesting to our audience that please fill this feedback form. Yeah, and we want your feedback that how it is going on and what should we do new on our GG platform. Okay. And yeah, one more question, sir. I mean, when should we ideally launch our product? I mean, what is the right time? Or is there any right time or not? I mean,
Okay, so just some time back I was reading on a LinkedIn, uh,
Mm-hmm.
that the idea, if it is kept for long, is not the idea anymore. So that's actually a quote by Ronnie Screwwala. I mean, it's just a half an hour back he posted a quote on the LinkedIn. So that's clearly specifies that you need to move early on when you have an idea. And if you really think this is a worthy enough idea and you are passionate about entrepreneurship, starting your own business, start pursuing it there and then. That's one point. Now, talking about your question, when to launch in the market and all those things. So yeah, definitely there are a lot of variables to look into. One, definitely the general rule is, if your idea is innovative, get the early MVP, minimum viable product being built early on, and hit the market as soon as possible with the limited funds, also with a limited level of marketing, because slowly and gradually you can increase that, right? And definitely other things is, if that product is launched during the Diwali time, and if it is somewhere a gift item, so those variable aspects definitely helps a lot. But having said that, if the idea, you have that conviction on your idea, on your product, I mean, and before anyone reaching hitting the market, you get the early mover advantage as well. So hit your idea on the market whenever, as early as possible you can do it. That is what I would suggest. Otherwise, definitely there are a lot of variables. So the disclaimer is, because this can't be answered in a straightaway fashion. So when you get to know, okay, this is my product, this is my customer, this is my market, these are the already existing competitors, that might impact your strategy to when to launch ideally, right? But having said
Right.
that, as a generic answer, yes, innovative product should be launched as early as possible. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. So, thank you so much, sir. It,
Ankita, just before move further, so
Mhm,
I got a question from lately, a lot of people do
mhm,
ask, like, uh,
mhm.
I mean, see, entrepreneurship is not bookish, actually, you
Right.
know. So until unless you have some practical knowledge, you have some a good practical exposure as to what to do, when to do, and how to do, it can really be a game changer for a budding entrepreneur, very honestly. So people do ask, like, how can we get that? Because this is somewhere, is not in the books. Obviously entrepreneurship has been introduced, all those bookish things are still there, but there is no book launched by Bhavesh Agarwal of Ola. There is no book launched by Dipinder Goel from Zomato, whatever their journey has been. So one, definitely I would suggest people to read a lot when they are planning to get into the system, and grasp for the actual practical learning. And for that only, Ankita, I'll just take a moment and share my screen to showcase the course that I have launched, right? Just confirm if my screen is visible.
Yep, it is visible, sir.
All right, all right. So guys, I'll just show you. So this is the GrabGuidance portal. So probably a lot of people are already aware, but I'll just take a moment and I'll just show you the course on entrepreneurship that we have,
We are having, yep.
right? So this is not a recorded course. One, I never
Mhm.
believe in recording, because till the time you interact with the founder himself or herself, I mean, that's a different level of learning altogether. And it's like a 12 hours of interactive course that I have created, honestly, so that we can cover up, and it's a certification course, we can cover up all these aspects that we have talked about in today's session also, right? So, like, on the idea, on the validation. So obviously validation in itself is a huge discussion, I would say. There are
Mhm.
10, 12 things probably we can do it, which we can't cover it today for sure. you know uh, how to do the market analysis, how to size the market, how you get onto your number of billion-dollar market size, right? How to actually create a successful business model, right? All these things are very critical. what are the factors that impact when to take the entrepreneurial plunge. Like you said, you were asking when to launch. So when to take that entrepreneurial plunge is also a big decision for anyone, right? And how to build that team. We talked about building a team, but how to do, what to do, when to do, everything is very important, very critical. And how to develop product, go to market strategies, and pitching and fundraising. So that is where, I always, prefer, sharing my own experiences, building the legal tech, and the ed tech ventures, that has given the exposure. And it will be, if I share this honestly with someone, it will help them to know something probably beforehand, the mistakes probably that a lot of founders have done. So that's a learning from your own mistake or learning from someone else's mistake. So it's better to learn from someone else's mistake, because he has
Right.
wasted his money to learn something. Why we are bothered to waste money, right?
Exactly.
So
Right.
I believe, because obviously these things are not there, in any particular course curriculum that can teach you the exact practical implications and how to move forward in those strategies. So that would be something that I really want to do it, and then we together in Grab Guidance do that for, for our people. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, please
anyone
carry
is interested in, yeah, so anyone is interested in this course can surely, I mean, book a session with Dr. Himanshu Puri, and we are most welcome. And yeah, so thank you so much, sir, for your time. And it was very, I mean, it was great to have you, and it was a very good session, that I can say. Yeah, so
on. Yeah.
okay, sir.
Thank you so much, Ankita. Lovely,
Okay,
lovely to have this session. Bye.
okay, sir. Thank you so much.